Hey, it's me, Curtis P. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to jump on. Impromptu video is coming your way, so here we go. I really wanted to talk about the EA deal that has been announced. If you have not seen EA, it's basically in the news that EA has announced that they will be purchased for $55 billion. So they are a publicly traded company currently. They are going to be taken private by a group of 3 companies that are pooling their money together, and they're going to buy it. They're going to buy EA and make it a private company. So I wanted to walk through kind of like the different pieces of this, just to give you a little bit of background in case you haven't really read about this, and then like talk about each piece and like what I think this and how I think this will affect the company, and most importantly, The Sims kind of moving forward. If you don't know, my name is Curtis Paradis. I was a professional simmer basically for like 10 years, which was crazy. I played The Sims professionally. Like, how can you play The Sims professionally? I played it, I made money, that was my living. I literally played The Sims for a living. And it's a thing that lots of people do now, which is awesome, and I love that for them. I don't do it anymore. But yeah, so I kind of feel like I have a little bit of background on the game itself, and I have some feelings. So let's just talk about that. So again, it's a $55 billion deal. That is the biggest gaming company deal ever, if I am correct in kind of looking it up online. It's huge. It's a huge deal. 36 billion of that is going to come from cash from the 3 companies that are pooling their money together. So it's 36 billion. The other 20 billion, and this is like the first interesting piece that we're getting into, the next 20 billion is going to be taken out as a loan. And that loan is going to be put back onto Electronic Arts. So the 3 companies are going to pool together, they're going to buy EA, then they're going to make EA basically take out a $20 billion loan and put that onto their own books. It's just the way capitalism works. I don't really get it, but the company can take a loan on itself to buy itself. Sure, that makes sense. We'll come back to like what I think that means, because I think that's the first red flag, okay? That EA will basically, once the sale is complete, inherit $20 billion worth of debt, which is a lot of money. This whole sale is expected to be complete by Electronic Arts' Q1 of 2027. I would just ignore that. It is the summer of next year. 2026, summer. That's how EA does its quarters. So summer 2026, this sale should be complete. So less than a year now, okay? Which is like, that's not a lot of time. The CEO, Andrew Wilson, by all accounts, will be staying on as the CEO after the purchase. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that CEO sticks around for much longer, right? Like after a big buyout like this, I'm like, in a somewhat hostile takeover, I would wonder if the CEO will stay on for very long. So I guess we'll see. Let's talk about who's buying it, because there's 3, like I said, 3 organizations who are buying it. I want to walk through each one. Overall, it's a combination of Silver Lake Private Equity, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, and Affinity Partners. Those are the 3 organizations. If you're like, where are you looking? I have notes off on the side of the screen, so that's where I'm kind of looking at right now. Silver Lake, it's just a global private equity firm, which, personal feelings, I don't like private equity firms. I think they're garbage. Case in point, look at what happened to the Hudson's Bay Company in Canada just recently. The Hudson's Bay Company was like a 400-year-old company, maybe give or take, but it was older than the country of Canada. The Hudson's Bay Company was super old. It got bought out by a private equity firm like a couple years ago, maybe a decade ago. It's bankrupt. Bankrupt. The company that bought the Hudson's Bay Company just stripped it, turned it into a garbage company, and it went bankrupt. So yeah, great. We love that. And that's what, as I oversimplify, that's what I think a lot of private equity firms do. They just buy companies where they think they can extract more money out of it. They don't give a crud about the company. They just want to make money. They're like the most capitalist of capitalists. If that means selling every little bit and piece of the company, including the frickin' desks that the employees are sitting at, all to recoup money that was more than they bought the company for, they'll do it. They don't really care. And that's sad, right? Like, that's another piece of just like, oh, that's not good. And it's really not. The second company is Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. Maybe it's not a company, but organization. As note, the Public Investment Fund does already own 10% of EA, so they already do have a large investment in the company. They also have investment stakes in Nintendo, Take-Two Interactive, and Capcom. So the Public Investment Fund has a lot of interest in video gaming, and from kind of what I've read along, like they've been trying to get more into video gaming as time has gone on, so this really makes sense. A little background on like what the Public Investment Fund is. Basically, Saudi Arabia, they have a lot of oil. If you don't realize that already, oil is very valuable, so they have been making a ton of money with the oil over the past, I don't know, bunch of decades. So they've been putting that money into the Public Investment Fund, and they use that fund to invest in a number of different things that basically are designed to make the country of Saudi Arabia just better in general. But also, and this is like my skepticism and kind of what I think of, is like, if we think of, let's say, like Civilization as a video game, and you have a lot of money, with money you can buy influence over other players. I kind of think that's what the Public Investment Fund is for Saudi Arabia, is that they have been sprinkling their money all over the place in efforts to basically persuade other countries, organizations, the public in different countries to perceive Saudi Arabia as a good country. Even though, personal opinion, don't think it is. They don't really have a great track record for human care, I guess. I don't know, for lack of a better term. So yeah, human rights, that's probably what I was looking for. Anyway, so that's one of the other purchasers. This is great. The third and final company is Affinity Partners. This is an investment company founded by Jared Kushner. If you don't know, Jared Kushner is the husband of Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump is the daughter of Donald Trump. So, personal opinion, not a great company. Just, I don't like that at all. So those are your three brand new purchasers for EA. Private equity company that probably just wants to extract a bunch of money. Saudi Arabia, not the best. And then the Trump family. Great, good, I love this. I can't imagine what they will do with this company moving forward. Again, just all my opinion, but it's scary. Now, taking a look at like kind of EA's portfolio, the reason they're paying so much money for EA is because they make some of the biggest games in the world right now. Obviously, you have all the sports games. EA Sports is a huge franchise, okay? Giant, right? You have like football, basketball. Do they make baseball games? I don't even know. I assume that they do. Hockey, like there's all of these different EA Sports titles. Obviously, there's a bunch of first-person shooters like Battlefield and other stuff like that. And then kind of your third piece, and I don't know the financials on all of this, so maybe it's not even the third, maybe it's like higher up. But it is The Sims. People don't often think, but The Sims prints money, for lack of a better term, prints money for EA. It's a great franchise, it always has been, and it makes them a lot of money. It's also the only game in its genre, to be honest. Like life simulators, like there are others that are trying. It's just The Sims. There's no other life simulators out there. So EA, like, The Sims was the OG life simulator, and it still is the really only life simulator. So if you like The Sims, there's nowhere else to go, right? Like, it's like you don't really, like, I don't even know of any other like house building games or like life simulation games. It's The Sims. Everyone just plays The Sims. So those are kind of like the three big titles, right? So like $55 billion buys you the entire library, but also mostly buys you those three titles, which are huge. Lots of people play those, right? And like a varying group, right? Like there's the people that play all the sports titles, the people that play the first-person shooters, and the people that play the life simulator, which is like those are Venn diagrams that like don't often overlap, but EA controls all of them. So again, if your goal is to buy something that has a lot of influence over a lot of other people, this is a pretty good deal. You get 3 distinct buckets of people all at once, which is great. Note that I'm not saying making the games better in any fashion. It's public control and perception is basically what I think this is all about. So yeah, let's talk about like what do I think this actually means for The Sims moving forward? Because like we could speculate on like what those 3 companies, organizations want to do with EA, but when it comes to The Sims, I think the first thing that I can think of easily, and let's kind of like jump back to what I talked about at the beginning, EA will be $20 billion in debt after this, which is crazy. Nothing like selling the company and being like, we're in debt now. Like, I don't understand how this works in capitalist ways, but whatever. So EA has to make $20 billion. I'm sorry, but like that's probably gonna mean some microtransactions are coming to The Sims, which sucks so much. Microtransactions and probably garbage expansion packs, stuff packs, etc. DLC, right? Like these organizations, and maybe I'm just thinking of like the private equity firm. I don't know about the other 2, but none of them really have a background in video games. They probably don't care about games. They just want to make money. So push out whatever expansion pack you can, whatever stuff pack. If it has only 1 chair in it and it's $30, we don't care, sell it. And that sucks, right? Like we want better quality stuff, not garbage. So, and we don't want the game also full of microtransactions. Like the last thing you want is like every single item in the game is a microtransaction. Or could you imagine like interactions in the game? It's like, oh, you can't do that interaction without like paying some money. It's like, that would suck. But like you could do it. And like that sucks. Like it makes the game worse. It's the ultimate way of like extracting money out of everything inside of the game. Like we already complain that it's like the occults, which is like vampires and werewolves and there's mermaids, there's ghosts and occult. I don't really know. Anyway, each of those occults, aliens, is that an occult? I don't even know. But anyway, they all kind of have their own expansion pack or stuff pack or whatever in The Sims 4. And we've been complaining in the community that like in past games, EA used to do that all in one pack together. So you pay $30, you got all of them at once. Now EA's been putting them in individual packs. And we're all very upset about that. Imagine it gets worse. Like imagine that like, what if like every season was like a microtransaction? It's like, oh, you want winter? Like that's a microtransaction. You want it to snow? Yeah, that's a microtransaction. Like it's not impossible. It could be tiny, but like they add up, right? So it's like, what if that was a thing? It would suck. The other thing that I can think of is what's going on with future development. So EA has been, for those again who don't understand or don't know, EA has been working on like the next generation Sims game. It's called Project Renee. They've been working on it for a number of years. I can't even remember how long, but it's still in development. What are these organizations going to do with this game that's been in development for like 5 years now? Like, I can only think of one of 2 things. One, they just cancel it. It's been a waste of money. They don't want to put more money into it. They're like, we don't care, cancel it. And the game just never comes out. Option 2 is they're like, we don't care. The game is in some form. Just package it up and ship it. Ship it. Sell that version of the game. We don't care if it's good or if it's bad. So neither of those are like great things, right? Like it's just like, again, it's garbage, right? Like it's like this is nothing against the people that work at EA or work on The Sims, because I bet they want to make the best games they possibly can. I just don't think the new owners will care, and that sucks. And maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I honestly do. I hope I'm wrong. The last thing that I can think of, again, we're still trying to recoup that $20 billion, is a subscription service for The Sims 4. And I think this one is the most likely in my mind. Just kind of like running through a bunch of numbers and kind of looking at it, it honestly just makes the most amount of sense. So let's just break this down. I've been kind of like, I looked this up a little bit and I kind of wanted to like play around with this in my head and just talk it through with you. So first things first, The Sims 4 has been a free-to-play game since 2022 or something like that. So, which is crazy. So you can just download the base game of The Sims 4 and play it for free. EA doesn't charge money for it anymore. Where EA makes their money is if you want seasons or pets, or you want to go on vacation, or you want all these other things. You want to go to high school? You got to pay some money for that. Like that doesn't come with the game. You got to pay extra. EA could change the way of doing this by just charging a subscription fee. Every month, you could charge a subscription fee, and that could include all the content for inside of the game, which is kind of like, it would seem like a nice thing, but we'll break that down a little bit as to why I'm like, maybe not a great idea. So looking it up, I did some little bit of research. Back in 2020, EA doesn't really release great numbers when it comes to users, but back in 2020, they did release that The Sims 4 had an average monthly users of 10 million users. So 10 million users played The Sims every month in 2020. That's 5 years ago. 10 million people a month. That's crazy. That's a big number. 2 years later, when EA switched The Sims 4 to being free to play, it increased by 53%. So that's an additional 5.3 million users on top of what they already have. So in 2022, what we can assume here is that there were around 15.3 million monthly active users for The Sims 4. That's a lot of people. Again, 3 years ago. I have no idea what has happened in that amount of time. Speculating, probably it's gone up, but I'm not going to base my numbers off of that. I'm just going to say the numbers I'm basing it off of are from 2022 right now. So if anyone can find more up-to-date numbers, let me know in the comments below. So if we have 15.3 million users and we charge them, let's say $11 a month, which is kind of on par with like what other subscription services are, like GTA and Battlefront and all that other stuff. I don't know too much. I just kind of looked a few things up and was like, yeah, $11 a month seems to make sense. It also creates some really nice round numbers, which you'll see. So if it's $11 a month, we have like over 15 million users every single month. This math is beautiful. It comes out to being $168.3 million a month. $168 million a month from The Sims, from the frickin' Sims. Again, this is why I think like people are always sleeping on The Sims. Like if you play other video games, you're like, oh, The Sims is just a dumb game. And I'm like, can you imagine if a video game made $168 million a month? Again, let's times that by 12. That's $2 billion a year. $2 billion a year. And you know what EA wouldn't have to do, in my mind? They don't have to do anything. They don't have to add more packs. They just take the existing library and be like, yeah, it's $11 a month. Maybe it's 15. It could be 20. I don't know. Like it could be more. But if it's $11 a month, it would be $2 billion a year. And again, there's no like expenses subtracted from that. Like you get what I mean? This is all very rough math, but I'm like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And you know what EA doesn't have to do? Like I said, they don't have to make more expansion packs because EA, I don't think, can make $2 billion a year on The Sims by just making new expansion packs. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe EA's already making way more than this. I don't know. But the idea that, you know, to the user, this seems like a great idea. It's like, oh, $11 a month and I can have all the Sims stuff? That sounds great. And EA now has a perfect revenue, right? This is like the Adobe system. Like I pay for Adobe and it's like, Adobe makes so much money every single month because people just, they keep paying. I've been paying for Adobe Creative Cloud for like 15 years. I've done the math before and it makes me sad the amount of money that I have just like given to EA. And that's the thing, like you could do this with The Sims and it starts off small, but then you quickly realize that like, oh, in a couple of years, you will have paid more for the subscription service than you ever paid for all the expansion packs. Plus, you don't own the game. EA can still do whatever it wants with it, right? Because you don't really own it. You just kind of like pay to get access to it, which also kind of sucks. That's why like a subscription service just seems to make the most amount of sense. Like, and what EA could do, like they can still release packs and other stuff, but there's not as big of a push to constantly release new expansion packs because they're always just getting this money, right? It's just every month they get to go to the bank and the bank says, here's $168 million. And EA's like, what did we do? And they're like, you didn't do anything. You just have a bunch of people that are addicted to this video game. And I think that's one of the things that the companies are probably looking at. And they probably are like, that can make us a bunch of money. And, you kind of break it down. And you're like, I'm surprised EA hasn't already done a subscription service. But I don't know. Maybe they did some math and it didn't make any sense. Or maybe they didn't want to because of other reasons. I have no idea. But yeah, that was one thing where I'm like, that's got to be a thing. A subscription service for The Sims 4 seems inevitable in my mind. So that's like some stuff that I'm like, well, that'll probably happen with The Sims. That's more like monetary. The piece that I'm more worried about, like the monetary stuff sucks and the like crappy games suck. The other piece that I'm worried about is the equality and representation within The Sims. Of the three kind of parties that are coming together to buy the game, I can't help but think that two of them are rather conservative and probably don't like the idea that The Sims is very pro LGBTQ+, right? Like it's like The Sims is super open about that. Like you have always been able to, since the very first game, have same-sex relationships. The game doesn't care. That the game allows you to do it, right? Not doesn't care. It's just like they don't stop you, right? Which is great. We love that. You get to play with life. That is what The Sims is. That's why I think we've all kind of, not this one thing, but it's like one of the many pieces that it's like, you can do anything you want with this game. And that's what's fun, right? You can put your sim in the pool and take the ladder out. But you shouldn't, but like you can. It's totally fine. That's great. And it's like, yeah, like you can do that and they don't stop you. To the point where like even in The Sims 4, which is amazing, a couple of years ago, they changed it so there's pronouns built within the game now. And there's even toggles for like different pieces when you're kind of like making your sim. So it's like your sim can have more of a feminine appearance, but can like operate as a male. A very basic way of thinking of this is like there is literally a checkbox to be like, do you sit down to pee or do you stand up? It's as simple as that, right? It's like, can you have a baby? Can you not have a baby? Like those are all checkboxes that are built within the system. The teams at EA have embraced that and they're like, we will let you do whatever you want. It's not they don't care. It's like, they're like, yeah, like you can make a sim that maybe looks more feminine, but operates more male. Cool, you do whatever you want. It's your game. The problem, I think, is that like, again, I worry that those things might disappear from inside of the game. And I think that would be detrimental to the way that The Sims is, right? Even like, not even talking about like, kind of like representation within the game or like equality for creating your Sims. It's also like the items that are in the game, right? There are pride items that are inside of there, right? There are flags for pride. Could those be removed? It's possible, right? And like that would suck, right? Like the again, for lack of a better term, like the whitewashing of The Sims would suck. And I think that would ruin the game. And I think it would ruin, like the fan base would, I hope the fan base wouldn't accept that and they would walk away. Yeah, because it's just like, it's just sad. Like it's not the game that we all know and love, right? And that's what I worry about. I'm just like, I worry that these groups may have alternative motives for buying EA. Because you can buy EA and that's fine, but it's like, why do you buy the world's biggest video game company with the most influence across different brands if you're not going to use that to maybe influence the people that play the games? Maybe you're changing the games to align more with your culture or your religious beliefs or whatever it is, right? Like maybe the games don't align with what you currently believe and you want to better align them. You own it, you can do whatever you want. It just sucks for the people that already enjoy the games the way that they currently are, right? So yeah, it's scary. Like I don't want to like scare anyone. I'm just like trying to like piece this all together in my head and I'm just like, I don't see how this is a good thing. We'll see in a year from now. I'm posting this hopefully October 1st. We'll see in a year from now like what happens to EA, what happens to The Sims, if anything bad happens, maybe everything good. Who knows? I don't think it will, but maybe. So we will see. I also, like, I do feel bad for the people that play The Sims that are professional simmers. I watched a couple of videos today, and I've seen some posts from other people about it that are just like, you know, like, respectfully, they are worried, right? Like, they live their life by playing this game, which is amazing, and it's such a beautiful thing that they get to do. But the idea that now, like, this whole game could be in jeopardy is, like, of course that's got to be scary for them. I'm reading this news, I have never been happier that I don't play the game professionally anymore. Because I think having my livelihood tied to The Sims, when it's going to go through potentially some pretty rough water coming up, could be pretty detrimental. For those people, like, not that I'm the one giving advice, but it's like for the people that are out there that play the game professionally, I highly recommend taking the time right now to think about diversifying your income streams, possibly with other games, possibly into other things. Because what if in a year from now, The Sims is a train wreck, it is a mess, or it's gone? You have no idea what happens to it, right? Like, you can keep playing The Sims 3 forever, and like, I think The Sims 4 kind of works offline without the EA servers, but like, I don't know. It's just like it's a weird thing to think about. So yeah, I hope nothing bad happens, but we don't know. It's certainly a lot of money to buy a company to do nothing with, right? Like, if you paid this much money, what is it again, $55 billion, it's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason you're buying it. You don't just buy it because you're like, it's fun. Like, no, there's a reason. Like, you think you can make more money out of it. You think you can use the company to influence other people. Whatever it is, can all be done. So yeah, it's a little scary to kind of look at, but that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching. Thank you for attending my TED Talk in my dilapidated office. As you can see, things are like falling down. That's okay. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Please be kind. I will not tolerate people ranting at me or yelling at me. I will just delete your comment, and that's fine, because I don't care. Like, it's like, if you have nothing nice or constructive criticism to say, I got nothing for you. So let me know in the comment section below what you think of this purchase, though. Please try not to personally attack me. And I will talk to you all again later. I'm going to go back to editing some Instagram pictures, which is what I was doing, because it is currently 9:30 at night, which is great. So bye, everyone. Have yourself a great day. Okay. Bye.